Welcome everyone back to day 5 of the Clean Food Challenge. If you're ready for day 5, let's put a 1 in the comments on Facebook or also on Zoom. Welcome everyone from Facebook. Welcome Clean Food Tribe. Welcome Elena Love.
Thank you. It's great to be here again.
Got some good stuff today. Looks like we're making a burrito with collards.
That's right. Kind of, sort of. Yeah, I guess it is a burrito.
So today, as we get going here, I'm going to go over how can we make healthy eating easier. One thing I do, and I do this a lot on Sunday, although sometimes I do it on Saturday or other days. Sometimes when I come home from the grocery store. I also do it in conjunction with like cleaning out my refrigerator, especially the produce. I will pull a bunch of stuff out, wash and cut and prepare it for the week. And I'll just take maybe an hour, sometimes 2 hours, depending on how much I'm doing. I might prep my lettuces. I will prep, if I'm going to make a soup that week or another recipe, I'll prep up vegetables for that. I put them in separate containers. I'll make a big salad sometimes. And I get to clean out my refrigerator and make sure that I'm using the produce that I already purchased, maybe from the week before, and use that to plan some of my meals. Another thing I do is when I'm making a smoothie, like a green smoothie in the morning, I will make just a whole blender full. I'll make 2 of them. And I'm making sometimes up to 60 ounces of smoothie, almost half a gallon. I might make 2 quarts. I put them in ball jars. I'll put 1 in the fridge for tomorrow. And a smoothie can keep 3 days, usually 2-3 days, depending on what's in it. And it's still great. If I'm making a soup, when I make a soup or a chili, I will I use an Instapot. And I can do that maybe 10 minutes of prep, throw the stuff in the pot, put it on slow cook. Sometimes I use the high pressure cook. And I can even make a soup like within 15 minutes sometimes if I use the high pressure cook. But I like doing the slow pressure cook. Sometimes making a soup for my kids or something. You can do other things in the Instapot like steam vegetables. The trick for steaming vegetables in the Instapot is to do 0 time. And basically on high pressure, it'll just warm up and turn off. I do buy salad mixes. I like the herb salad mix. We can get one that has cilantro in it, which is really good. I love fresh cilantro in my salads. And a lot of the natural markets now carry pre-cut vegetables, like the spiralized zucchini, or in some places have other spiralized vegetables. You might have a lot of small businesses in your area or some chefs. If you can afford a chef, say, to come in your house or something once a week or to drop food off for you, that's always a good option for if you have a busy week coming up. You might want to try that, or have them drop food off for you, or go to a local cafe or health food store that might have a cafe. So those are my tips. Do you have some tips that you've put in place for yourself over the years, Elena?
Oh yeah, I like a lot of the things you said. I make 2 weeks worth of salad dressing. If I'm making a dressing, I double or triple it, like especially my vegan Caesar or my vegan ranch. I freeze things. You mentioned keeping your smoothies. So I will freeze smoothies and or soups in little jars, the little glass ball jars, and fill them 3/4 full and freeze them on their side so they don't break in the freezer. And then I've always got a soup or a smoothie or something in the freezer so I can take it out the night before and it defrosts in the fridge overnight. Like dehydrating, I think you mentioned too, like soaking and dehydrating all your nuts and seeds, or making dehydrated crackers or like dehydrated vegan cheeses, like the sauce I'm going to show you today. Things that you can pre-prep, like we both agree that like Sundays and Wednesdays are great prep days, and just getting as much done ahead of time as possible. Because then
right, that sounds good.
Yeah, when you're not in the mood, a lot of times people work all day and they're not in the mood to cook. So knowing that something's waiting. One thing I say a lot is that, if you're driving home and you got this craving, like let's just say for something sweet, but your plant-based, healthy cheesecake is at home in the freezer, you're like, I can come home and like get that defrosted within 10 minutes and be eating it, versus stopping at a store and picking up something unhealthy. So that could go for so many things that if you know it's already prepared, you're going to be so far ahead of the game.
Not bringing the more undesirable foods in your house in the first place. That's a good way. If you have to have something that's not so healthy, don't bring it in the house. Go out. Make your stuff. Go out to whatever it is, the ice cream shop, the restaurant, the cafe. That way you don't have it in your house.
I say that so often because willpower doesn't work. So if you think you're going to eat, half a tub of, let's just say something healthy-ish, like Coconut Bliss, and you think you're going to bring that home and it's going to last, it's usually not. So just finish it or get rid of it or share it with a friend and don't bring it home. And I say that about most things. It shouldn't be in your house because it's too tempting.
And a lot of times, if you were tired and on the sofa, it's easier to go to your freezer and pull out the tub of Coconut Bliss versus I'm going to, put my shoes back on, get in the car, drive.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just
don't do that.
Yeah. It's like, let's just eat something healthy and stay home.
Yeah, exactly. I do that pretty much all the time. I don't even eat out anymore because of COVID and everything happening. I'm like, it's not even worth the energy to go out there and deal with it. So I just make everything at home.
Right. So today we have, are you going to make a cheese today and then put it in a wrap?
Yes, I am. I'm going to show you how to make a cheese. I'm going to show you how to blend Irish moss into a paste. And we're going to have some fun with a collard burrito. Like you said, it's kind of like a burrito. Are we ready to start on that?
We are ready. Well, my paper says burrito, so
Burrito.
I guess it's a wrap. We call them wraps.
It's a wrap. All right, well, I'm welcoming my people here on Facebook Live. Welcome, everybody. We are here today with Natural Zing, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a raw vegan burrito, but don't let the word raw scare you because it's super delicious and fresh and a perfect recipe as we're coming into the warmer months and we don't feel like turning on our ovens and our stoves. I'm going to show you how to make a bean and cheese combination. It's kind of, I call it cheese, but it could be kind of like beans too because I'm going to throw some cumin in. And we're going to use some of our famous or favorite Natural Zing products. So let's start with the cheese recipe. And cheese is in quotes because it's vegan. You can use, so if you guys have the recipes at home, you may have gotten the email with the recipe, or if you're watching me on Facebook Live, I'll just mention all the ingredients that go in. But the actual recipe calls for either macadamia nuts or cashews. But today I thought, since we already showed you guys some cashews this week, I thought I would choose sunflower seeds for a couple reasons. One, they're a lot less expensive if you are on a budget. So these are going to cost you, $3 or $4 a pound versus $15, $20 a pound. And sunflower seeds are a lot easier to digest than, let's say, a nut of some kind. So they're going to be a lot lighter. And sunflower seeds have a lot of healthy ingredients. So we want to rotate our nuts and seeds for sure. We don't always want to use macadamia nuts or always use cashews or even always use almonds. So I rotate. You could also use pumpkin seeds in this. I have my Natural Zing pumpkin seeds that you can make a kind of a green cheesy thing. It'll kind of be greenish, which is fun. And so don't be afraid to experiment with nuts and seeds. I probably wouldn't use anything like hazelnuts because that's kind of weird. But just some neutral tasting nut. So the recipe calls for 1 cup of sunflower seeds. Now I've already, actually it calls for 2, but I'm just doing half a batch because I'm actually on a cleanse right now, and so I keep making all this food that I can't eat. So I'm just doing, so you can half this batch for sure, it's just you. But like we said, prepping more stuff ahead of time is always a good idea because you can eat dehydrated or eat it later. So either way, but so a sprout, once you sprout the seeds, they're going to be a little bit wet, so you can even use like a heaping cup or a heaping 2 cups. So I'm just going to keep with the half recipe for you guys following me on Facebook. So it's 1 heaping cup of soaked sunflower seeds. And soaking is really important because it gets a lot of the dirt off, and it also starts activating them so they're easier to digest. The next ingredient is going to be water. Actually, I realized I need to make my Irish moss paste before I do the sunflower seeds. So this is kind of a good thing. I always tell people read the recipe first. So I'll get those out in a minute. But I want to get this Irish moss paste going first because then I won't have to clean out my blender later, right? And so this is what soaked Irish moss looks like. It does look like a sea monster, kind of, like it's kind of fun. And remember that I talked a little bit about iodine and how important iodine is in our diet. This is where you get your iodine. We're not getting it in our salt anymore because we're not eating iodized salt, which is not even the proper kind of iodine. It needs to have iodide in it as well, which is natural. So you want to use your moss to get your seaweed. To get your minerals. You can use other seaweeds as well, but this is a really great neutral one. I use it to thicken my cheesecakes as well. So I chopped it, as you saw, a little bit. It just helps your blender for them not to get caught in there. I'll show you what it looks like. So here's Natural Zings moss right here. We also carry the moss at Pure Joy Planet. We've been selling it for years because all of our students use it in so many recipes. But what it looks like when it's dry is it's really salty. So that's another reason we soak it. It's super salty, if you can see that. And that's a preservative on there. So it'll keep in the cupboard dry for years. Or once you soak it and you haven't blended it, it'll keep a couple weeks in the fridge, but it will start to turn pink if you keep it in there too long. So I'm heating up some water because I like to do hot water. This is a trick I've learned. Hot water with Irish moss makes it blend a lot faster. So I'm just kind of filling it up to cover it in the blender because I want it to be a little bit thick because it's going to help the cheese to thicken. To blend long enough to really get, it's kind of like, I'll pour it out so you can kind of see what it looks like. It kind of has like a gelatinous quality to it. Now as this sits, if this sits in the refrigerator, it's going to turn solid. This is basically the substitute for vegan gelatin. So if you want to make anything thick and, just dense, even like your cheeses or your cheesecakes or your desserts, this is the trick. So this will get thicker as it sits. So I'm going to go back and put my sunflower seeds in. I'm not even going to bother cleaning out the blender because why do I need to? It's going to go right back in. We need 3/4 cup of water in here, which I actually did not get yet. I will grab. And the water, how much water you use is all about how thick or thin you want your cheese sauce. So 3/4 cup water, and then 3 ounces, which is, your recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of moss, but I use this fun little tool called the Metric Wonder Cup, and what it does is I would take something like 3/4 of a cup, if you can see that, and then half of that would be, if I look at the ounces, would be 3 ounces. So it's a great way to divide 3/4 of a cup in half. And the other thing I like about this cup is I fill it up, and then you can use this for oil or nut butters or honey. You just push and it clears it out. So you're not like digging out from the cup, which a lot of times is hard to get stuff out of the bottom. So that's one of my favorite tools to use. Plus it has all the metrics on here. The next ingredient is our onion powder. We're going to put 1 tablespoon in. Then our lemon juice. I recommend using a little bit more when you're doing sunflower seeds than if you're using cashews or macadamia nuts, because sunflower seeds tend to turn brown. So I'm gonna do like 3 tablespoons, and you can always add more at the end once you taste it. We got our onion powder to give it a really good, oh, I put my onion powder in already. We got our nutritional yeast to give it a cheesiness, 1 tablespoon of that. Miso also gives it a really good cheesy quality. This is chickpea miso, and I'm using 1 tablespoon. That's gonna add an awesome flavor to it. And then a little bit of salt, 1/2 teaspoon, and this is mineral salt. We've got the Natural Zing Pink Himalayan, or this is, you can use real salt as well. I combine the two sometimes and use them both mixed, because then I'm getting really great source of high mineral salt. And then that's it for the cheese, and I'm just gonna blend it. If you wanna make this more colorful, throw like a piece of carrot in, chopped carrot, or you could throw in a piece of bell pepper, red bell pepper or orange bell pepper, or some turmeric or some beet powder. Any of those. Don't put too much beet in though, because it'll turn red and that'll be weird. But any of those will make a really good color. You know, and as part of this challenge, we're trying to show you different foods. Like when we talked about what we wanted to offer for you guys, we wanted to have, like we had breakfast yesterday, we wanted, and we had a smoothie on Monday. We wanted to show you, like, this is an entree. So we're not just like, hey, if I'm going to switch my diet and start eating healthier, like I can't just do, you know, smoothies and juices or like dips. I got to have the whole shebang. So this is why we're showing you this wrap today, because we want to show you how all the pieces kind of fit together. So now that we've made that, we are going to take our collard wrap, which I have had frozen. So my trick, and I don't know what you do, Jeff, but my trick is that I freeze my collard wraps as soon as I get them home. And then when I want one, then I lay them flat as possible so they don't get all like curled up in there. And when I want to eat one, they last for months in the freezer, by the way, in a Ziploc bag. When I want to eat one, I just take it out and run it under warm water, which washes it at the same time. And then it gets nice and soft. The reason I do this is so I don't have to blanch it on the spot, because then I have to boil the water, and it's just one more step. And if we eat collard wraps right out of the fridge, for me anyway, it's too fibrous. I don't like that. Like I've gone to raw food restaurants where they're serving you these collard wraps, and you're like, oh, I think my stomach starts to hurt just having to digest these raw collards. So I prefer mine frozen ahead of time. And what I'm doing now is I'm taking this off. It's called deveining, and you want to not cut the leaf, so you just gently cut that thick stem off the back with a nice sharp knife. I'm using a Mac knife. And you can get Mac knives on purejoyplanet.com that we sell them. We think they're amazing. And this is our favorite one, which is the 8-inch cook's knife. It's the only knife I really ever use. Every once in a while I use a paring knife. So see that? That's like a nice wrap. I can do it any way I want. I can do it this way. I can do it long ways. So you got options here, which is awesome. I'm going to do this one long ways because I want to cut it in half and kind of show you guys all the tricks. So I cooked this ahead of time, but you do have the recipe. It was just basically, the recipe called for 15 mushrooms sliced. I think I quartered these. I did throw in some zucchini as well, like half a zucchini chopped, and a quarter of an onion or half an onion, and then put a little bit of cumin, some salt. This is a trick, and it's not in your recipe, but I love to add a splash of apple cider vinegar to most things that I'm cooking because it gives it that tang that I just love. I love the digestive, that it helps us digest our food a little bit better too. So I'm going to start with the mushies, and I'm going to put them in here. And this was one of those things that I made ahead of time and froze. So I was able to take it out of my freezer last night because I knew I was making this wrap today. So I didn't have to be like cooking it right now. And if you make a big enough batch, these are really great size bowls. They come with like a little rubber lid. You can find these in Costco and most, probably even in like Walgreens and those kind of places. freeze a bunch instead of one big one. So then you just label it. You've got it in your freezer, and there's a stack of 4, and that'll last for at least a month or 2. And then you don't have to keep cooking up the same thing all the time if you love this mushroom saute. I also used some kale out of my garden, which was left over from last year. It just started sprouting again. The other ingredient that's not on your recipe, but I thought, Jeff asked me yesterday, what happened to your kelp noodles? So Natural Zing has this Gonzo family-sized kelp noodle bag, so I did the whole thing. I softened it. I think that was on day 2. And so I have these kelp noodles in the fridge, which are a lot like glass noodles. So I'm kind of turning this from a burrito into maybe just more of an Asian wrap. I don't know. But I'm putting some glass noodles in there, and it kind of makes good filler and good texture in your wrap. And that's just a fun bonus. You don't have to do that. And then we'll take some of this yummy cheese, which is looking really good. Again, I store all my stuff in glass jars. So these are 3 cup size jars, which fit a lot of these kind of things. I got these, I hate to admit it, but I sometimes go to Walmart. Ooh, Wally World. But I did get these there. Because sometimes in Bend it's hard to find canning jars. So anyway, this cheese can go right in there. And this will last in your fridge for about a week because it's got all that lemon in it. You could even throw a raw clove of garlic in this recipe, and that'll help preserve it even longer. Or some ginger. So play around with your flavors. You can make this into so many different things by just adding different spices and different vegetables, like I said, like a pepper or a carrot. But then you're just going to kind of put in there as much as you want, like a drizzle. Not too much because it's just going to kind of ooze everywhere. Once this sits in your fridge with the Irish moss, it's going to be a lot thicker, so it'll be more like a spread that you could put on first. Think of it more like a cheese spread that you would get, like a cream cheese. I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not. We got some mustard. I love the Annie's horseradish mustard. This is one of the only mustards I've found that doesn't use white vinegar. It uses apple cider vinegar. Our guts don't really like white vinegar. It's kind of inflammatory, so I always use as much as I can Dijon mustard with the apple cider. And I love how I'm just zigzagging this on here, and it's looking really good. I could throw some colorful veggies in. I've got this other fun tool I want to show you. It's also from Progressive. We used to sell all this stuff. That's why I have all this, and we used it in the culinary school. And so I would just do like a number 1. It slides from 1 to 3 on here, and it has a lock button, so I can't cut myself when I'm washing it, which I love that feature. So I'm going to do a number 1, and I'm going to do some red radish that I've already cut the ends off of. And so, like I mentioned this, I think on day 2, that if you don't love the bite of radish, if you do really thin slices, like so, hope you guys can see that. It's paper thin. I'll hold it up to show you. So you get the flavor and the color without the hot bite of the radish. The other kind of radish I have, because I do love radish, is daikon, and I already peeled this ahead of time, and you can do really thin daikon slices. This is also great to put on top of salads. We really need the sulfur in radishes. Radishes are so healthy for us, so get your radishes in there everywhere right now in the stores. I think that's it now, so I can seal it up. And if there's anything else you want to put in, like I have my own alfalfa sprouts that I grew, I can put that in, or fenugreek sprouts. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and it's going to wrap up really nicely because I didn't overfill it. A mistake I see, we have in level 1 of our culinary training, we have raw vegan sushi rolls. And when the students overfill them, it really becomes a problem. So make 2 instead of overfilling it if you're really hungry, because you want it to wrap up. Now, wouldn't this be great if you just wrapped this in some wax paper and threw it in a baggie, and you could take this to work for lunch or on an airplane even. I've taken stuff like this on the airplane, and my seatmates usually I've had so many comments on where'd you get that? I made it and brought it with me because being prepared. So we're talking about a 5-day clean food challenge right here, and Jeffrey was talking about it earlier. Being prepared is the hugest way that you can succeed. Whether it's in business, we know this from talks on business, whether it's in life, whether it's with your spouse, whatever, thinking ahead of time. How do I want to communicate? And in this case, how do I want to do my food? I want to, do my shopping list and get organized. And the other thing is, if you're watching this right now and you haven't been eating clean, maybe you're still drinking a lot of alcohol or sugar or grains, and you're just tired all the time, eating this way will make you feel better. So just push through, give yourself a week or two, and you're gonna, I mean, when you eat something so vital and alive, like one of these rolls, I mean, the greens alone are so alkalizing. Can you guys see that? So yummy. And you know, you could probably, if you're really hungry, have 2 of these, but these are just gonna make you feel full but super energized. You're not gonna get that tired feeling you get from eating grains. A lot of people eat grains at lunchtime like a sandwich. So this is your new sandwich, people, or your new burrito. Don't go out and get that food that we don't know what's in it or how those animals have been treated or even what oils they're using, those inflammatory oils. You wonder why you wake up with puff under your eyes? A lot of times it's just the oils that are in food when you're eating out. So here's your wrap and roll. And if we have any questions, I think I have a few on Facebook, some comments. Annie's horseradish mustard is someone's favorite. Oh, another Elena. Hi, Elena. And yes, this will be on my site later, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's see who else commented. Okay, anybody on, I can't see the comments from here, but anybody on your guys' Facebook or on Zoom have any questions or comments about this fun little wrap?
I will check. Not on Zoom. Hey,
Okay.
I like the, you do have to soften the collar. I've eaten a lot of just raw, you know, wrapped up right out of the refrigerator, but softening makes a big difference. I like the freezing.
Jeff, I know you're a chef too. Helen told me you're an amazing chef. And once you start kind of getting into textures and things, I feel like that's what makes the difference between good and great in foods is that you pay attention to the textures. Like you said, like you want it to have a great mouthfeel, not just be, well, it's raw and it's healthy, eat it, it's good for you. Like, that doesn't really fly with most people. Not in the long run. What else?
Yeah, no, I've never put moss paste in a cheese. That's definitely going to make it more saucy.
It's gonna make it more saucy in the beginning, but what it will do later is if you want like more of a cuttable cheese, put this in. So I save, it's kind of funny. Oh, actually just put it in one of these, and when you can even turn it over, because when that moss sets up, you can turn it over and it'll fall out and you can actually slice it like a cream cheese and put it on things. So the moss is just kind of a bonus. You can do this recipe without the moss. But we figured we have the Natural Zing Irish Moss, may as well show people how to use it. Like I wanted to get as much stuff in as possible.
I do like when people make the nut cheeses and things to put more vegetables in with the nuts more. It kind of like cuts them down a little. And I think the moss paste does that.
Yes, it lightens the whole thing. Easier to digest, for sure.
Like I have a friend in DC, Kepra, who runs a raw food cafe. He does work in, like with his cashew cheese, he'll put some spinach in there. Now he doesn't overblend it, so it's not like a green cheese, but he'll work in different like shredded carrot or spinach. And it makes it a little bit lighter. It makes it just a little lighter, and I think it goes down better for me that way.
I totally agree. Oh, the other thing that I didn't put in the wrap that you can do to make it lighter and just add more herbs is we have the Trader Joe's organic basil. You could put cilantro in. You could put really any herb that's growing in your garden. I've got rosemary and tarragon growing now. You'd have to chop the rosemary. But yeah, anything like you said to do to lighten it. Even shredded vegetables in this wrap. Like people want to know, what do I do with beets? Shred it up and put it in things like this. So yeah, fill it up with a lot of veggies or blend it right into the sauce like you said.
And then, yeah, as far as the cheesy, the nutritional yeast in the miso really get that cheesy flavor going.
It's such a
we need everyone, if anyone hasn't entered to win the juicer, just drop pound juicer in the comment. That's going to be drawn very soon.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I'm just going to say goodbye to my people on Facebook, but I'm going to stay on Zoom. So I'll see you guys out there in cyber world. Thanks for joining the 5-day challenge. But I'm still here with you guys on Zoom, so I can't wait to hear who won.
Okay, so here is a copy of the recipe up on the screen. And we have some announcements. So we have, yes, make sure you type in hashtag juicer in the comments to make sure you are in the contest. We have everyone who gave us their email address and everyone who was in the, well, actually, I'm not even sure if we got everybody who is in the Facebook group. So that's why it's important for you to put hashtag juicer in the comments. So if you do that, then that would be great. So the other thing was that Elena was going to tell us about the 30-day detox. Elena, are you ready to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I'm totally ready to talk about that. So yeah, one of the things that we're doing right now is we've been doing this for years, and this in May we're offering what's called a 30-day detox with whole foods. So it's not just like juices and smoothies. It is that, but it's also like really healthy foods, and it's an elimination diet. So you can, if you've been trying to get off gluten, or been trying to stop drinking, or been trying to get off sugar, or so many things that creep into our diet that we think are healthy, and I'm using air quotes. This is a great way to have coaching for a month with me and Caitlin, who's my partner at Pure Joy Planet. And we're going to be there with you the whole step of the way. You get daily emails and daily lessons, so it's not like you got forgotten about. Like for 30 days, you're going to get something in your inbox with either a recipe, a video demonstration, a lesson of some kind, like how to meditate, how to cold plunge, how to, just be a better communicator. It's not just food, because as we know, healing your body goes way beyond what you're putting in your body, even though we feel like that is super important. It's also what you're putting into your mind. So talking about detoxing from media and detoxing from, other things like people that are negative. So we really do the whole mind, body, spirit. We envelop the entire thing. So after 30 days, so many testimonials we've had about how amazing people feel, how it's changed their life, how they continue to do it, or they'll come back and repeat it once a season with us, just to get in there and keep getting in what we call in the conversation. So if you don't know about Pure Joy Planet, you don't know about us, just head on over to purejoyplanet.com and click on Learn, and the detox course will be right in that section there. You can also get a full raw vegan culinary training, and we certify you in that, levels 1 and advanced. So check out the whole site, and free recipes on that site as well. There, she's got the flyer up there. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that.
Jeff, do you still have those questions that I gave you earlier? Did you want to answer any of those?
I have one. Is clean eating a diet? And I wouldn't call clean eating a diet. I think it's just a choice. What would you say to that, Elena?
This is my life. So I say it's a lifestyle. I always eat clean, and it's not like we're saints. Every once in a while you're going to go out and have something, but I just feel like the cleaner you can eat, the happier you're going to be and the more energized. So I think of it as a lifestyle. And it doesn't mean it has to be 24/7, but like at least 80% of your life should be eating clean and healthy.
Yeah, I think it is a lifestyle. But yeah, it doesn't mean that you might want to have a piece of cake at grandma's birthday because
right. You don't have to be a saint.
Here's another question. Do I have to go on a cleanse? You don't have to go on a cleanse, but if you eat cleaner, your body's naturally cleansing every day. When you go outside, and maybe you live in the city, if you're near automobiles or different things, you're absorbing some toxins on your skin and your lungs, and your body's always cleansing itself anyway. But when you eat clean, it makes it easier for the body to get rid of some environmental toxins.
I agree with that, but I also know that, like we talk about, I use a car analogy a lot. You would not go have this amazing car, and your body's worth way more than a car. Like your body doesn't even have a price tag on it. It's so invaluable. And like, hey, check under the hood every once in a while. Do a little liver cleanse, or do a little just like month of cleaning out, because you're going to notice your energy levels will come. You're kind of helping yourself to not get sick. So look at it that way. You can either wait to get sick to detox, which does happen if you never do your own cleanse, or do a self-starting cleanse where you're like, oh, I'm just going to eat less this month, or I'm going to change up some things, or do, avoid a few things. And you're going to notice how much more sparkly your eyes get, clearer your skin is, better your hair is, and even your mood and personality get better.
I did a 2-week cleanse in December, like the first part of December. I actually did one of the David Wolf cleanses. I used to follow him a lot, a decade ago, but he popped up in my feed and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to see what he's up to these days and join his cleanse.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. I mean, I feel better than ever, especially like in December, the first part of December, because typically you have all, parties and things around New Year's, the holidays and stuff. But I would say for me, I could see myself benefiting like at least twice a year, maybe from a longer cleanse. I know you said you're on one right now.
Yeah.
But even like we did one week of one meal a day, and then the second week was all liquid.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, and it's really like an intuitive thing too, and you probably know this, Jeff, because you've been in this lifestyle for a long time. The longer you're eating healthy and clean, and like I was 100% raw vegan for a while, but I'm not 100% anymore. But like your intuition will tell you it's time to do a cleanse. And yeah, maybe we get more sensitive when we're eating cleaner, but we also just overall are more vibrant, and we're extending our life, our longevity. And I want to say lifespan, but really I mean longevity. And just like, I'd rather live vibrantly than, just half energy, like low energy. So yeah, you'll just your body will tell you, like yours did, Jeff, like, hey, I think I need to do something. And you'll start listening for that.
Yeah, so if you need to rewatch a day, we did give a lot of nice tips and time-saving tips. I know people think it's more time-consuming, but, it's your health, it's your body. You need to put some time into it. You're putting time into other things. So, yeah, like you said, you need to put time in the right places. It could be relationship, body, and sometimes you need to put time into business. So, luckily nowadays, there is a lot of ways to eat cleaner outside the home. We have a lot of different restaurants jumping on board with more choices.
Yeah.
And so that's great. So that's all I have, Helen. Did you have anything that you wanted to add, Elena?
No, I think we kind of covered it. Like you said, go back and watch the 5 days if this is your first day watching. All of them Helen has posted on the Facebook page, and you can get probably links in the emails. I think she sent out the first 3 videos yesterday. So yeah, check back and watch them all, and you'll get a lot of information. And just even doing these 5 days of clean eating would be a really great booster.
And could be like a mini cleanse for some people.
Exactly.
All right, Helen.
Okay, I just want to remind everyone that we do have a special Clean Food Challenge bundle. You can save 22%. And, it has a lot of the foods that we featured today and throughout the week, actually. So the cashews, almond butter, sunflower seeds. So lots of wonderful things in there. And we don't usually give such a large discount. So 22% is very good. So all the things we highlighted in all of the recipes are in this, well, not the produce, obviously, but a lot of things. And we also include all the recipes in the box with you, and we'll throw in a few extras in there as well. So I just want to remind you of that. It's the Clean Food Challenge bundle on Natural Zing's website. The link is in the presentation, and it will be emailed to you along with all of the other replays. I think if that's it, I think we're going to pick the juicer winner. Jeff, are we ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to reach in and see who we have. Okay, so Okay. We have Aran Tava. Oh my, I apologize. Tavakoli. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. You cannot see that. Okay. Well, we will email Aran. And what I also want to do, I recognize the fact that some people might already have juicers and they say, hey, thank you, but Helen, I don't really need a juicer because I already have a really great juicer or 2 juicers. I know I have 2 juicers, so I don't really need a third. So there might be, this person might have that issue. So I wanted to pick a runner up just in case. So let's see, we have Michelle Lepler. That's Lepler. Michelle, are you on the?
Yes, I am. Wow, I'm here. Yes.
All
Wow.
right. So you are a runner up. If the first person doesn't want it, then the juicer is yours. And if they do want it, then we'll make sure you get something special as well. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. See, I don't know if I have anything else. Let's see. Other than that, I just want to let everyone know that they can contact us at naturalzing.com. And Elena, she has all of her wonderful things happening here, the 30-day detox program coming up in May. So thank you all very much. And
Yes, we answer our phone. We're answering our phone all day long, every weekday. So if you need to actually talk to someone on the phone, guess what? You can do that at our company.
That's a rarity these days.
Some people do need to talk on the phone and, get their questions answered. So we're here for you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Helen.
I just also want to remind people, stay in the Clean Food Tribe group. We will continue to provide content, support, recipes. So stay in the group, stay active, give us your questions, let us help you out. And thank you. This has been a wonderful week. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.
Okay.